Hello, and welcome back. It's time for episode 3. And tonight, we dive into one of the most infamous and controversial abduction stories in UFO lore. The case of Travis Walton, a logger who allegedly disappeared for 5 days after encountering a mysterious craft in the Arizona forest. If you're just tuning in, we explore real-life encounters at the boundary of the unknown, extraterrestrial, supernatural, or psychological. I'm your host, Mike, and tonight I invite you to walk with me into darkness, to the edge of belief. And as I always say, lay down on your bed and let's get started. It's November 5th, 1975. The forest is cold. The wind whispers through the pines of the Apache Sitgreaves National Forest, near Hubbard, Arizona. The sky is clear, the stars gleaming faintly overhead. A logging crew, 7 men in total, have spent the day thinning out dense undergrowth on a federal contract. Among them is Travis Walton, age 22. They're tired, itching to get home. Their pickup truck rumbles along a narrow forest road. The smell of pine resin, sweat, and damp earth lingers in the cab. The group chats about finishing the job, about slipping back for a cold beer once they reach town. At some point, one of them spots it. A bright light ahead, hidden behind the tree line. At first they think it might be a distant fire or headlights. As they drive closer, the light becomes intense, even blinding through the trees. Travis says, "I squinted through the dust of the wind, the truck's headlights trembling. My heart pounded when that light, so white, so pure, cut through the darkness. It wasn't like any being I'd ever seen. It hovered, it pulsed, it called." They stop the truck. The men peer into the forest. Some shout. The light seems to dart among the trees, then settle in a small clearing low to the ground. It glows bluish, shimmering. The air crackles, an electrical hum, faint but real. Travis is drawn to it. Despite warnings, despite fear, he steps out of the truck. As he approaches, the craft responds. A beam of light from beneath the object locks onto him, enveloping his body. He feels paralysis, a rush of heat, pain, then nothingness. He collapses. His colleagues, terrified, see him vanish in that light, fearing for their life. They flee, driving off into the darkness. They drive for a while, then stop. One of them, Mike Rogers, the crew chief, glances back through the trees and for a moment sees the craft receding upward. He gives orders. They must return. Check the scene. But when they do, there's no Travis. The clearing is silent. No footprints, no blood, no scorch marks, no sign of struggle. just emptiness. Fear and dread gripped them. What have they done? What have they witnessed? They report Travis missing. The sheriff's office is alerted. Local volunteers join the search. But for days, nothing. Over the next few days, the forest is scoured. Search parties roam under heavy beams of flashlights. Helicopters hover overhead. Volunteers sweep the underbrush. No sign of Travis. His family, friends, and the public wait in anguish. But the case becomes controversial almost immediately. Some local authorities and townspeople suspect foul play. Was Travis murdered by his own crew and hidden? The loggers become suspects. Under mounting pressure, the crew submit to polygraph test, or the lie detector. The examiner C.Y. Gilson, affiliated with the Arizona Department of Public Safety, interviews them. Some pass. 1. Alan Dallas is inconclusive. Meanwhile, in the background, Travis' family has a long-standing interest in UFOs. The idea of aliens isn't alien to them. Public and media pressure mount. There's a skepticism from scientists, accusations of fabrication, debates over the credibility of the witnesses. And then, on November 10th, something happens. At a payphone in Heber, Arizona, a collect call comes in. The voice is Travis Walton's disoriented, weak, speaking haltingly. His sister's husband picks him up. Travis is found near the payphone in shock, dehydrated, but alive. He's escorted to medical attention, where his physical state is evaluated. The public race in with questions. What happened during those missing days? Where was he? What did he see? Under hypnosis, under questioning, Travis gives an account. Inside his spacecraft, he was examined by strange beings strapped to tables. Probes inserted, mask pressed over his face. He describes corridors, rooms, a sensation of weightlessness, fear, confusion. Yet, skeptics point out conflicting details. The polygraph results, they say, were flawed. The test poorly administered. Walton allegedly used countermeasures. Researchers also point to motive. The logging job was behind schedule. Penalties looming. A false abduction would trigger an act of God. That's the clause in the forestry contract, letting the crew escape financial liability. In 2021, co-worker Mike Rogers even posted that he no longer considered himself a credible witness, claiming parts of the event were staged. Later, he partially retracted. Some skeptics argue a nearby fire lookout tower, the John Tree Lookout, with its spotlight could have been used to protect a beam that fooled observers. That Travis walked toward a known light source, and the scene was orchestrated. Today, nearly 50 years later, the Walton case remains a lightning rod for belief and doubt. Let me take you to Travis' words, how he described his old feeling while being in the ship. When waking up, sensation returned in increments. First, a cold spot against my back, then the taste of fear in my throat. I'm not on the forest floor anymore. I'm somewhere else. The air smelled sterile, metallic. My body lies flat. I try to move. A strap across my chest, strains biting into my shoulders. I jerk. The strap bites back. 3 figures hover over me. Frail, humanoid. But wrong. Their skin is pale, smooth, eyes large. Their voices echo soft, mechanical. I hear tubes, hums, faint whirs of machinery. I want to scream, but air is forced in my lungs. They press a translucent mask over my face. I inhale sedation. Darkness returns. When I come back, I'm strapped in another room. A yawning chamber with low ceilings, weird consoles, glowing panels. I drift, weightless. I see others in cocoons, inert. I float past. One pod seems to contain a body in decay. Horror. This is not a healing word. This is something else. I scramble to retreat. 2 of them seize me, dragging me down. Corridors strewn with debris, keys, shoes, fragments of earth-made things. I choke, resist. Then I black out again. When I awaken finally, I'm walking along a highway under a cold moon, clothes on backwards. The craft hovers above, then retreats. The forest behind me is silent. Too silent. That's what I remember. Picture with me. The forest is dark. The crunch of boots over pine needles. The essence of cold moisture. A faint hush in the air before the light appears, as though the world holds its breath. The electric charge. Hair lifting, static prickles on skin. When the beam contacts Travis. Inside the ship, cold metal, soft mechanical whirs, the hiss of sedation, breath in tubes. Weightlessness, the eerie glow of panel lights, the metallic sheen, the sterile smell. Confusion, terror, the blankness when memory fails, the highway at dawn, cold wind, stars fading, Travis steps on shore, clad in backwards clothing, the craft receding overhead. After his return, Walton became a public figure. He published his story, The Walton Experience, which later retitled Fire in the Sky, and a film adaptation followed in 1993. He appeared frequently at UFO conferences, interviews, documentaries. His story galvanized UFO communities. Yet, among skeptics, the case is often held up as a top-tier example of probable hoax or misinterpretation. Philip Glass, Michael Shermer, and others dissect inconsistencies, motives, and test methods. As of recent years, the Walton case still draws media attention. Co-witness Roger, in 2021, publicly stated he no longer believed in the abduction narrative. deepening thoughts. In 2025, Walton remains a polarizing figure. He still asserts the truth of his experience, even as many demand more proof. What is truth in a story like this? The human mind is fragile, selective, malleable. Memory is not a tape recorder. Witnesses may believe sincerely, but belief does not guarantee external fact. Yet, to dismiss the experience purely as delusion also denies the raw emotional core: fear, awe, disorientation. In an event beyond everyday life, we ask, is human consciousness wide enough to glimpse the extraordinary? Travis Walton's Abduction is more than a sensational tale. It forces us to confront our limits of perception, of evidence, of belief. It demands humility before the unknown. If one person's life is forever altered by a shifting beam of light in a dark forest, then what else is out there that escapes our scrutiny? Whether you accept the literal extraterrestrial interpretation or lean towards psychological or conspirational ones, Walton's story remains a testimony that humans are drawn toward mystery, toward the horizon beyond the known. We yearn for something to pierce the veil, some proof we aren't alone, or some reminder that even in darkness something watches, waits, or wonders. So tonight I leave you with this. The truth of the Travis Walton Abduction may never be settled, but our search for meaning, our willingness to question, that is the real journey. Thank you for joining me for episode 3. As always, stay curious and stay open. Until next time, don't stop when you sense the light. Step toward it, even if it blinds you.